In this video, we'll cover New Vintage USA Phoenix instrument features. The NVU Phoenix platform is the most advanced standalone instrument system on the market. It's automotive and consumer electronics based. Traditionally, aftermarket gauges are commercial or marine based. So what does this mean? This means inclusive standalone units with no drivers, boxes, or modules, built-in indicators, odometer settings, OLED screens, additional inputs, all kinds of features that we'll cover more in detail in this video. Which kits use the Phoenix platform? Everything except kits with mechanical speedometer. Probably everybody's favorite feature is the built-in indicators. Every kit excluding mechanical speedometers incorporate indicator lights in the gauges. In addition to the gauges, direct fit kits, where indicators are integrated directly into the factory panel, retain lights in the stock locations. So for example, you see on the bottom here, these two panels have indicator lights built into the panel that would show through on the stock dash. All Phoenix kits have user selectable fuel range for most applications. We place this on dip switches for easier setup. No more fuel slosh issues as all the fuel gauges are electronically dampened just like today's vehicles. All direct fit kits ship with the appropriate dip switches selected, but if you need to change yours, just go to the chart in the book, follow the chart, and off you go. All Phoenix kits have voltage integrated into the circuit and no additional wiring is required. Phoenix kits can also display voltage on the speedometer or tachometer screen in the event that the customer is using a 5-gauge kit. So for example, on our 67 Mustang or Firebird kits, those have 3 minor gauges. We take the voltmeter out and we can display that on the screen. Now let's get into these screens. What can they do? The high contrast OLED screen really sets up most of the great features in the Phoenix platform. The screen can clearly display a large amount of information in a small space. This enables step-by-step menus for easy setup. The biggest innovation of adding the Phoenix OLED screen is the additional inputs available without drivers, boxes, or modules. Simply add on a sender, set up the input, and it's all set. In addition to auxiliary gauge inputs, we also have additional icons that can be displayed on the screens for even more customization at the user level. Engines and technology have changed over the years, so this is one big thing that came up time and time again. With modern engines running warmer than in the past for tuning, emissions, etc., we've changed the ranges on water temperature gauges to a more appropriate center position. Back in the old days, 170 or 180 was the center, which makes the newer engine look like they were running hot. The adjusted ranges have been well received by customers. Each major gauge is wired up via the included color-coded amp plugs. Every gauge is wired exactly the same using the same plugs and colors. This makes installation much easier. The amp plug also easily removed for mock-ups or anytime you need to unplug the set. Actually, many of our builders keep the plugs in stock to add to the harness when building the electrical system. Then when it's time for gauges, they just select a style and plug them in. Now we'll go through the speedometer features step by step here. So first of all, we have an odometer, a trip odometer, service mileage that you can set for changing your oil, tire rotation, whatever service you'd like to keep track of. Performance timer, 0 to 60, 1/8 mile, 1/4 mile. User selectable odometer, so you can set your mileage to whatever to match your vehicle within the first 100 miles of using the kit. You got your voltmeter display. Speedometers have one auxiliary input, and this is covered in other videos, but you can install a sender and then display another gauge on the screen. So if you have a 6-gauge kit, you want to display oil temp or oil pressure, you can do that on the screen. Peak speed, mile per hour, kilometer per hour toggle. That's if you go across the border, you can switch it back and forth and know what speed you're going in that country. Overspeed warning, you can set that to whatever you want. This is typically used in commercial applications. Easy setup menus with the OLED screens. We're able to actually spell out each step for you to do. That makes it a lot easier. The digital filtering can be changed based on your speed signal input. And these are GPS ready by just adding on a New Vintage USA's GPS speed sender and antenna. The tachometers have a lot of features as well. First, we're going to start with the sequential shift alert. It's 1,000, it's 1,500, and then on the shift point, you can set it up to be sequential like that. We have an hour meter to keep track of your engine hours. Service hours, again, you can use that to track your, whatever oil change, whatever kind of service you want to maintain on there. Up to 2 additional inputs are available on some of the tachometers, so you can display 2 gauges, or 2 icons for that matter. Peak RPM, digital filtering just like on the speedometers. And then we have on gasoline engines 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12 cylinder settings. And then we also have diesel tachometers, which are covered in a separate video. And the tach signal sources can be a GMPCM, a coil, CDI box, or any other pulsed input. There's detailed instructions on that as well. And our instructions have come a long way. We've really tried to make these as easy as possible. This is really where the customer can do the work on their own by following the clear instructions. After years of research and customer feedback, we developed our instruction manual format to be as clear as possible. Wiring diagrams are 2-tiered. First, we have a chart with colors, pin position, and function. And second, we have the chart also has color wiring diagram to show the route from the gauge to the sources. We also have each gauge set on one page, so there's no more jumping around in a booklet to figure out what you're wiring up. This format has been extremely well received, and it really helps the novice and experienced builders. And then this might seem a little simple, but a nice table of contents goes a really long way with numbered pages. The setup instructions are step by step, showing what the screens look like and with detailed information. This format has helped the installer make leaps and bounds when installing. So you can see here on the right, it says do this, that's what the screen, do this, that's what the screen says, etc., etc. Combine that with the videos and it's super easy if you need them. When this type of instruction book is combined with our simple plug-in wiring, the installation has been tremendously simplified. This saves shops time and enables the hobbyist the opportunity to do their own install where they would have shied away from it in the past. Now we'll cover our direct drive system very briefly and we'll do an in-depth video on that as well. This is the biggest innovation in gauge kits. Easy wiring means quicker installation and less hassle. It's standard on all 6 gauge kits with programmable speedometers. Has all the same features of our Phoenix platform, plus easy plug-in wiring for the minor gauges. You've only got 2 harnesses to wire up, no boxes or drivers or modules. The lighting's integrated into the direct drive, so no more wires. And which kits use direct drive? All 6 gauge kits with a programmable speedometer. And again, we'll cover this in more detail later. And if you need more help or have any more questions, feel free to get an email, phone call, or a message to us, and we'll be more than happy to help you out. Thanks for watching.